Good morning, I'm Dara Brown. There's breaking news at this hour from Orlando, where there are reports of a shooting at a nightclub in that city.
We are still working in our newsroom right now, and we have several crews on the scene trying to figure out exactly how many people were injured there at Pulse nightclub.
There are more than a list of names. There are people who loved and were loved. There are people with families and friends and dreams.
I got into IDW, I got into the comics industry about 2 or 3 years after there were these 9/11 tribute issues that were done. And at the time, I was really sad that I couldn't do anything to help contribute to those.
Love is Love is a new anthology from IDW that celebrates love in the modern world. And all the proceeds of the book will benefit all the victims, survivors, and families of the Pulse nightclub tragedy in Orlando.
Comics has been all about me wanting to try to make a difference, just wanting to really contribute to this industry that I've loved for my entire life. So I'm friendly with Mark Andreyko, he's a comic book writer and screenwriter and stuff. And so we've been friends for years. And so right after that terrible episode happened, Mark called me up and said, hey, we're both product of the 80s, where we grew up with things like that Band-Aid, Do They Know It's Christmas song, where it was to raise money for starvation. Or there were some comic books at the time that did the same, that were to feed, African hunger and stuff like that. So like as kids of an era where you did these charitable, comics or songs or what have you, he said, we got to do something. We got to do something to raise money. I said, absolutely, we do. Like, if we can do this thing, we'll definitely publish it. And then he also publishes books through DC. He talked to DC, and they said the same thing. Like, yeah, we want to do this too. And so we all got together, and DC was great about allowing their characters to be used in these stories. And so Mark and then the editors, Sarah Gatos and Jamie Rich, pulled together just this amazing array of creators, not only from the comic world, but from the film world, from stand-up comics, from actors, musicians, all kinds of people to come together and tell these stories that has raised an awful lot of money for the charity, which it's an amazing thing. Like, I remember reading those as kids, feeling good that I was contributing my little bit of money in that way, and so now to be able to make these books and contribute in a much more direct way just feels great.